Okay, so you want to get a dog. You've seen the videos. The golden retriever running across a field in slow motion, the tiny puppy falling asleep in someone's hoodie pocket. Your friend posts a photo every single day and captions it like the dog is their entire personality now. You think, how expensive can this actually be? 50 bucks for a rescue, a bag of kibble every couple weeks, and boom, unconditional love for the next decade. That is the picture in your head right now. And I need you to sit with that picture for one more second, because by the time this video is over, you are going to see exactly why that $50 rescue fee is maybe the smallest number in the entire relationship, and why thousands of people every single year fall in love with an animal before they ever run the actual math on what that animal is going to cost them. This is not a video that is trying to talk you out of getting a dog. This is a video that is going to show you the real financial shape of what you are signing up for, because nobody hands you this information before you bring the leash home, and by the end of this, you are going to understand pet ownership better than 90% of people who already own one. Before we go any further, hit that subscribe button, because this channel breaks down the real economics behind the things people assume are simple, and trust me, this one gets stranger the deeper we go. Let's start with the purchase itself, because this is the first place people get the math wrong. A dog is not one product. It is at minimum 3 completely different financial categories wearing the same wagging tail. The first is adoption, through a shelter or rescue organization, usually running somewhere between $50 and $300 depending on the region. And that fee typically already includes vaccinations, spaying or neutering, and sometimes a microchip, which sounds like an incredible deal because it is. The second category is the backyard or hobby breeder, somewhere in the range of $500 to $1,500, where you are paying for a specific breed, but with wildly inconsistent health screening, depending entirely on who you are buying from. And the third category is the reputable, health-tested breeder of a purebred dog, and this is where the number most people are not prepared for shows up. A French bulldog from a certified breeder can run anywhere from $2,000 to $8,000. Certain rare colorations or bloodlines have sold for over $10,000. A working line German Shepherd from proven parents can land between $2,000 and $5,000 before the dog has even opened its eyes. And here is the part nobody explains going in. The purchase price has almost nothing to do with what that breed will cost you over its lifetime, because different breeds carry wildly different long-term risk profiles, and that risk is where the real money lives. Now let's talk about what happens in the first 30 days, because this is where new owners get their first real gut check. Before the dog even walks through your front door, you are looking at initial veterinary exams, core vaccinations if the shelter did not already cover them, a collar, leash, harness, crate, bed, food and water bowls, a first bag of quality food, basic toys, and if you are doing it right, puppy training classes. Altogether, that initial setup typically runs between $500 and $1,500, depending on how much of it you buy new versus secondhand. Add spaying or neutering if it has not already been done, which alone can run between $200 and $500, depending on the size of the dog and your location. And this is before you have paid a single month of ongoing costs. This is simply the price of admission. Now here is where it gets interesting, because the sticker price and the setup cost are honestly the easy part. The real financial commitment of owning a dog is not a single number. It is a recurring monthly bill that runs for 10 to 15 years straight, and it does not pause when you lose your job. It does not pause when rent goes up. It does not pause ever. Food alone for a medium-sized dog runs between $30 and $80 a month depending on quality, and larger breeds can push that number significantly higher simply because they eat more. Routine veterinary care, annual checkups, vaccinations, flea and tick prevention, heartworm medication typically adds another $20 to $50 a month when you average it across the year. Grooming, depending on the breed, can range from nothing if you have a short-haired dog you bathe yourself, to well over $100 a month if you own a breed like a poodle or a Berndoodle that requires professional grooming every 4 to 6 weeks just to avoid painful matting. Then there is pet insurance, which more and more owners are adding specifically because of what we are about to talk about, typically running $30 to $70 a month depending on the dog's age, breed, and coverage level. Add boarding or dog walking if you travel or work long hours, and the honest, unglamorous monthly cost of owning an average dog lands somewhere between $100 and $300 every single month for over a decade. If you subscribed already, thank you. And if you have not yet, now is genuinely the moment. Because the next part of this video is the part almost nobody talks about publicly, and it is the part that actually determines whether dog ownership becomes a manageable joy or a financial emergency. Let's talk about the veterinary emergency, because this is the single biggest financial risk hiding inside every dog owner's future, and almost nobody prices it in ahead of time. Picture this. Your dog is perfectly healthy for 3 years. Then one afternoon he swallows something he should not have. A sock, a corn cob, a piece of a toy, and by evening he is vomiting and will not eat. You take him to the emergency vet because your regular clinic is closed, and within an hour you are sitting in a waiting room being told he needs immediate surgery to remove a bowel obstruction because if they wait, the intestine could rupture, and that becomes a life-threatening situation within hours, not days. That single surgery, including imaging, the operation itself, anesthesia, and overnight monitoring, can run anywhere from $3,000 to $7,000, sometimes more depending on complications. And this is not a rare horror story. Foreign body ingestion is one of the most common reasons dogs end up in emergency surgery, and it can happen to the most careful, attentive owner on earth, because dogs, especially young ones, are simply built to explore the world with their mouths. This is exactly why pet insurance has grown so aggressively over the past decade, because that $30 to $70 monthly premium suddenly looks incredibly small next to a $5,000 emergency bill that arrives with zero warning on a random Tuesday night. And emergencies are only half of the long-term risk. The other half is chronic and breed-specific health conditions. And this is where the earlier point about purchase price connects directly to lifetime cost. Certain breeds carry dramatically higher lifetime medical risk, baked directly into their genetics. French bulldogs and other flat-faced breeds are prone to breathing complications that can require corrective surgery costing $3,000 to $6,000. Large breeds like German Shepherds and Golden Retrievers have elevated rates of hip dysplasia, and hip replacement surgery for a dog can run anywhere from $3,500 to $7,000 per hip. Certain retrievers have significantly higher lifetime cancer rates than mixed-breed dogs their same size. None of this means you should not own these breeds. It means the $2,000 purebred puppy and the $50 shelter mutt are not actually the same financial product, wearing different price tags at checkout. They are two different long-term risk categories, and the smart, well-prepared owner researches that risk before falling in love with a specific breed, not after the diagnosis. So let's put the full picture together and actually run the numbers on what a dog costs across its entire lifetime, because this is where the emotional decision and the financial decision either line up or they do not. Take a medium-sized, moderately healthy dog living an average of 12 years. Monthly costs of food, routine vet care, grooming, and basic supplies average around $150 a month, which comes out to $1,800 a year, or roughly $21,600 across its entire lifetime, not including the initial adoption or purchase and setup costs. Now layer in the realistic scenario. 1 or 2 significant veterinary events over that same 12 years, an emergency surgery, a dental procedure under anesthesia, treatment for a chronic condition in the dog's senior years, and that lifetime number can climb to somewhere between $30,000 and $50,000, depending on the breed and the luck of the draw. That is the honest, unfiltered financial shape of dog ownership. It is not a $50 impulse decision. It is a decade-plus long financial relationship with an animal who cannot tell you when something is wrong until it has already become an emergency. Here is the other side of this, the side that never shows up on a spreadsheet, and it is worth saying plainly before we close this out. Every single number in this video exists because people keep choosing to pay it, year after year, decade after decade, because what a dog gives back in return does not fit into a monthly budget line. There is no dollar figure for a dog waiting by the door every single day you come home, or for the specific kind of quiet a house has after you lose one. That is not the economics talking. That is just true. But the point of this video was never to talk you out of it. It was to make sure that when you do get that dog, you are not the person blindsided by a $5,000 vet bill you never saw coming, because you walked in with your eyes open instead of just your heart. If this video actually helped you understand what you are getting into, or what you already got into a few years ago without realizing it, do me a favor and subscribe, because we break down the real numbers behind the decisions people make with their hearts before their heads, and there is a lot more of that coming.